Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 326.
326.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. So it is too late for Halloween. You could say it's never too late for Halloween, but it pretty much is. So the holidays are coming up. Most of what happens at Walt Disney World starts on November 8th, except for like Festival of the Holidays. That'll be later in November. So check out MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel for the best deals, the best availability. I mean, I don't know what's available at this point. And also Flower and Garden Festival and Festival of the Arts are coming in just months away now. At the
It'll
beginning of
all
the year.
be here before you know
No,
it.
I just can't even imagine we're getting towards the end of the year now. It's actually a little scary. I have so much to do. But check them out and they can help you. And actually that will free up time also if they're doing all the work.
That is an excellent point. So check them out. Now we're going to start off at the Magic Kingdom. And this was a beautiful day, beautiful Halloween, as you could see, a decorated day. But the first thing I noticed when we walked in was one of our favorite spots. I call this the Christmas Tree Point location, was reserved for a special dining package location.
And I don't know when this started, and I'm sure I've heard of it, but Tony's Town Square Restaurant has a dining package. I think it's like $54 for adults and less for children, and they get the priority. I don't want to say seating.
Viewing for
viewing.
Festival of Fantasy Parade, but and this was very last minute. We were lucky. We ran over to one of our backup spots in front of the
Harmony Barbershop, and actually, this is one of my personal favorite spots because there's nowhere else they can look. And we got a front row spot here, and that's something that you can sometimes do is like run over to the Harmony Barbershop area and get a spot.
Right. It doesn't work out every time, but it's a good last minute shot anyway.
But I just like it because there's not really too many people on the other side. It's just not.
Oh, there's nobody. You're right. There's just
like
brick
right
on the other side, so they have to look over at you. So you're right. Especially for photos. Like, it's a great location.
It's one of my favorite spots. We weren't even planning to watch Festival of Fantasy Parade. This is the only day that we've been in the Magic Kingdom all month. Like since we got back from Disneyland Paris, we've spent so much time at Epcot. I made a run into Hollywood Studios the other day. So we'll be in Magic Kingdom a lot though as Christmas starts next week. You know, decorations and such by later next week.
So after the parade, we came upon a longtime cast member, Jim, here at the piano.
Well, he has been here since Thanksgiving 1983. So I could have seen him when I was in high school, senior year 1984, which is amazing to me. And you have a picture of him from, not that you have it here, but in the 90s, right? I mean, in your photo album.
Doesn't look that much different, actually. He's still very young looking, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes requests. I even asked him to play some haunted music, and he obliged us.
Well, you actually asked him for something specific.
He doesn't do Grim Grinning Ghost, I'll tell you that.
But he did something different.
Yes.
But anyway, definitely stop and see him. He's been there forever, and he's amazing.
And this is new to us. You can see how long it's been since we've been in the Magic Kingdom. The new Tomorrowland sign.
The Tomorrowland sign is way smaller than I expected. At least the letters are. So I just thought that was very interesting. We were like, oh, well, that's small.
Yeah. It's hard to tell things, on video over real life sometimes.
Right. And so, but anyway, it was nice to actually, you can see it was not too crowded on this day. If you go on a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party Day or a Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party Day, a lot of times it's not as busy during the day because it closes so early.
So our next stop was to see the Mickey's Royal Friendship Fair show in front of the castle. This was probably the last show they did of the day, so it was very bright on the castle.
And what we didn't remember was that there is no longer a seasonal element, and maybe that ended last year. This show's, a few years old now. I was going to mention earlier that Festival of Fantasy is going to turn 6 in March, which is amazing
I can't
to
believe
me.
it. I remember that day like it was yesterday.
Right. I mean, to me, it's the new parade. And so to me, that's incredible. And this, I guess, is a few years old. I still remember being here for the first day. And it's really a terrific show, but I enjoy the seasonal elements. Like when they had Halloween, they had Disneyland Paris music that we recognize from there.
Oh, I love that song, yeah.
So I missed that,
And they had a Christmas version, too. Just the finale was the holiday version.
Right. So I was a little surprised. I didn't remember that they didn't have it. And again, I assume it was last year or so that they changed that. pretty quickly on a show that's only been here now for maybe 3 years. I didn't check the date on that, but that's about what we're looking at here.
But still, a very, very popular show. Every showing you have a big crowd. So I think it's still nice.
No, it's a fun show, and it was good. We actually were there a friend is in the show.
Yes,
right?
yes,
So.
that was one of the other reasons we decided to watch it. So it was very nice to see one of our friends perform. So always a treat for us.
And I just want to say, like, Frozen is still so popular, and I can't even imagine after Frozen 2 comes out. It's just, like, anytime that you have, like, Olaf especially come out, it's like, Olaf! And that could be on Disney on Ice, that can be on this show, it can be on anything. It's still so popular, and so this is the very, very end of the finale.
Right. I wonder if when Frozen 2 comes out, they will update all these shows with the new costumes for Anna and Elsa for Frozen 2. Wouldn't be that hard, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it would be hard. So who knows? I haven't heard. I mean, they've had the new Elsa and I think the Anna costumes also a little bit out, like in Europe, but I don't know that they've done too much with that here yet.
So now we're going to head over to Epcot, and believe it or not, it is Christmas time at Epcot for the merchandise here in Mouse Gear. And so we just happened to discover that. And look at this, you already have some items for sale, quite a few items for sale.
This area is a seasonal area. It's got still some Halloween in it. So this Halloween sort of surrounds the Christmas, so it looks like it's mostly Halloween, but then you go into the center and it's probably like 75% Christmas. And we actually had previewed some of this merchandise at an event in July.
Oh yeah, Christmas in July, right?
Right, and this is a lounge fly bag. It's $90, but it's cute. It's adorable. And then there's all kinds of different shirts. This sort of reminds me of that going away Osborne-like shirt.
It's a classic. It has the classic look Mickey with the pie eyes. I really like that. Those are one of my favorite versions of Mickey.
I'm not really as big a fan of the newer style Mickey. So especially for Christmas merchandise, I really like the old version. And I'm glad that they utilize that so much in this merchandise. And there's sweaters and sweatshirts. There's actually more since this was a couple days ago. Every day merchandise is coming out. And what we previewed was such a small amount.
And these light up too. This sweater and the black one you just saw, they actually light up. And I didn't want to turn it on because, somebody could buy it. But it was very interesting to see them when we had that preview.
Mm-hmm. No, when we did the preview, we also saw some of the Festival of the Holidays merchandise. That won't be out probably for a month unless they decide to release it before Festival of the Holidays begins.
That's a great one with Chip and Dale on the naughty list. I do like that.
I think, and actually I like this one because it's a jersey style shirt. I don't really like the women's shirts that cut so up on the arms.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer like having most of my arm covered.
Well, you are always very sun conscious too.
But,
too bad your favorite company doesn't make Disney items.
But not only that, but I'll call them Batwings. Like,
Batwing. Why don't you give a shout out to your favorite clothing company for sun wear?
Oh, I like Coolie Bar.
Coolie Bar, you're a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan. I buy stuff from there all the time for sun protection.
I do like that. That is a very nice Spirit jersey right there.
That's my favorite of the Spirit jerseys, except Festival of the Holidays, again, that's coming up. I think that's November 29th. That will have the Chippendale one. That is very cute and will be probably it might be the most popular Spirit jersey this season.
So you don't think that'll come out until the festival starts?
I would assume so, but you never know. Disney could be like, okay, let's release it early so we can sell it early, but it is not out yet.
So this is more of a men's version, this black Spirit jersey, I'm thinking?
I think they're all unisex? For men and women. Yeah, I think they're all unisex. The cuts that are generally called men's cuts are the ones I prefer. I don't really like the women's shirts overall.
And I didn't even notice this, but this is Toontown-ish. I think that's Minnie's house there, and it's an ornament, and they also have Mickey's house, and it's still, these houses look just like this if you go to Mickey's Toontown at Disneyland.
I'm sure that's what they're based on, of course, because they look just like them. We used to have, of course, Toontown here
Toontown
until
Faire.
like 8 or 9 years ago. It's been quite some time.
Yeah.
I remember getting together. We had Matt and Jackie from Attractions.
Very last day at that, yeah.
We were there for the last day of Toontown. We were there for the last day of a lot of things. We, we select now, but even for the last Club Cool.
So this was very nice. We decided to go over to the Germany pavilion to see if they had any new Christmas items, and we hit the jackpot here in the Christmas corner store.
Well, usually there's one ornament every year that's like, they call it a Christmas bauble, that's silk, and a limited edition of 3,000. And they've done that for a number of years now. And they do have that, but they have so much more merchandise this year. And in fact, a couple of years ago, they had 2 of the Christmas baubles, and they took a little longer to sell, I think, because there was 2 of them at 3,000 each. But this is really nice. This means Happy Holidays. I'm not quite sure how to say the first word, so I'm not going to.
Well, we have enough German friends, so we can get some translations in the future weeks.
I know. It's like, when you go to Disneyland Paris, a lot of our friends are now from Belgium and everywhere, like England and
all
Germany and Netherlands. So, but this means Merry Christmas, and that's what most of the merchandise says. And so they have, it really is mostly one pattern. Minnie has a pretzel, and Mickey has, I don't know if it's
looks like a cookie. I would say that is a cookie.
That's what I thought, a cookie, but it's hard to tell.
They're exchanging. Who gets the better deal in that? I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I would take the pretzel.
And so they have not only the other shirt that we looked at, but also this one, which again I think is unisex, and also a bag. I mean, there really is quite a bit to choose from here. And one of my favorite places, my favorite place to go shopping at Walt Disney World is in World Showcase, because there's merchandise that's imported from around the world, depending on where you're going. And then also they have merchandise like this.
So now we're going to talk about a vintage segment that you sort of volunteered for us last week when we were talking about Epcot Forever.
And it ended up being a lot of work for you to try to get this to work within the newer footage. But Jeff found Surprise in the Skies. You didn't find it. You knew.
I knew where it was. It was just digitizing it and getting it ready for the show. That was the hard part. Anyway, though, we're going to talk all about that. This is 1991, the 20th anniversary of Walt Disney World, and it was the Surprise celebration, and hence Surprise in the Skies.
And this only ran actually for 1 year.
Only a year. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever saw this, and I don't remember everything in my whole life that I've seen at Walt Disney World, but I wasn't going quite as often as I do now.
Well, this truly was a surprise, because here you have Mickey and all these other characters just kind of show up in the sky in these light little, I don't even know what these things, paraplanes. I guess they're paraplanes because it has a parachute and it's sort of an airplane. And there's Goofy there. So can you imagine now being at World Showcase and here come the characters flying out of the sky after you've just shot off fireworks, by the way, into the air, and you had hang gliders going up to 400 feet earlier while we were setting this up. You saw that. So just pretty amazing. I think that's Chip or Dale there.
And the reason that this ever came up is somebody mentioned on my Instagram, and I said this last week, when I showed the kites in Epcot Forever, they were like, essentially they said they came from Tokyo. Mm-hmm. But they're not. They had kites here at Epcot well before Tokyo Disney Sea.
Oh yes, very, very similar type of kites. But just the show itself is pretty amazing to watch now. I mean, you have daytime fireworks. You still have the characters and these paraplanes flying around. Now you're shooting off fireworks into the sky. You have boats. All sorts of things are going on in the World Showcase Lagoon.
And Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Goofy, Chip, Dale, Pooh, and Tigger, all of them, I guess, piloted planes, which is crazy. Like, if you said it, it's sort of like elephants.
Right.
If you didn't show me the photos, I would not have believed that elephants were once in, World Showcase, or not World Showcase, that was Future World, on the fountain.
Now, in case you're not looking at enough stuff on the lagoon, here come the first set of kites. And they're firing up the boats, and now you have these kites. Now, these aren't the kites that remind me of Epcot Forever. We'll see those a little later on in the show, but it's just very interesting to see all this action going on the lagoon. During the day, by the way, there's still an illumination show playing at night.
To me, that's incredible. And I'm sure I saw the night version of Illuminations back then, but not for whatever reason. I don't think I spent a lot of time in World Showcase at that time.
Oh, let's not forget the cold air balloons that inflate around all the countries that are represented here during the show. Another little bonus.
And I think 4.5 story tall balloons, and each one of them, they're themed to the country, like Viking. I think it was Viking Goofy.
Right, right.
And then we also have, was it Uncle Sam Mickey that we're going to see? But here is like
German Daisy.
Daisy, yes. So it really is very interesting to see these Pinocchio in Italy, and
Look at how huge he is.
a lot of the merchandise at Italy when they have character merchandise is Pinocchio as well. Which I think
And
is
you know,
interesting.
this was the same year. I think Walt Disney World must have discovered balloons because they had a parade too, also in the Magic Kingdom, that had featured these giant balloons.
And then we're seeing. I'm not. These are those.
So they're still, the
gliders
characters
still.
are not done. They are still buzzing around to say goodbye to you. But before they even leave, you're going to see more stuff shot into the air, just missing probably the characters, and then you're going to see the other balloon, the other kites. Here they come. These are the kites that remind me of the kites from Epcot Forever.
So how long was this show? Like how long was it? 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
It's at least a 15-minute, maybe a 20-minute show, but at least 15. This show debuted September 30th, 1991, the day before Walt Disney World's 20th anniversary. And I was there. I was actually there for that. And this night, the night of the 30th, also, you had the debut of Spectro Magic, which I was there for, which was pretty awesome.
And okay, so in Orlando, this is the Orlando Sentinel, is that correct? It says, back then, to the surprise of everyone, each boat releases a tethered glider which lifts 400 feet above the lagoon. So I think like characters...
Well, those are the hang gliders that you
Right.
saw at the beginning.
I think characters in flight is like 300 plus feet. So, I mean, that's remarkable.
So right now you have daytime fireworks, you have the kites, you have the characters, and some kind of stuff going on the lake there. So there's a lot of activity.
And not only was Surprise in the Skies one of the 20 reasons to go to Walt Disney World at this time, but they started Beauty and the Beast, the stage show at Disney's Hollywood Studios, as well
Right.
as Little Mermaid. Yacht and Beach Club opened. DVC started. The Sci-Fi opened. Dixie Landings, which is now Port Orleans Riverside, open. Port Orleans French Quarter, which was just called Port Orleans, and Minimoo.
Oh, let's not forget the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show at the Hollywood Studios, too.
I never saw that.
That was fantastic. And we've shown that on vintage segments before. And, of course, the Surprise Celebration Parade that we mentioned earlier at the Magic Kingdom. And, Roger Rabbit was the big face of all this. He was the host. He would pop out and surprise you when you least expected it. So it was quite the celebration.
There was a lot to see, and I know I was coming here at that time, and there's apparently a lot I missed.
So our next segment is at Disney's Fort Wilderness Campground, and we were just there recently to look at the Halloween decorations. We'll get to that later. But first we saw this sign showing big changes coming to the Tri-Circle D Ranch and also the Clementine Beach.
Well, Disney is building Reflections at Disney Lakeside Lodge. I believe that's opening in 2022. And so a lot is changing. Fort Wilderness will not be the secluded place. Unfortunately, it once was. Hopefully it will be a nice resort, though. But something that's changing is a Tri-Circle D Ranch, which has been, I think it's been torn down at this point.
It has. We're about to take a look. Well, actually, you're going to see the wall where the Tri-Circle D Ranch used to be on the other side of. Also, you would notice the petting zoo and also the trail rides were beyond this wall. But across the street, across where the bus stop is, you could see that is the location for the new Tri-Circle D Ranch.
And I didn't realize it was so close. For some reason, I thought it was going to be in the Meadows area. I will mention also, Minimoo, who I just mentioned, did live here at Fort Wilderness, and I believe for a number of years.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember visiting Minimoo here.
And Mini Oink. They had a pig. They also had a pig at one point with a Mickey design on it.
I'm sure I visited it.
And I want to mention also that the location that the former barn was, you know what that's going to be?
No.
Parking.
Oh, parking.
That'll be a big parking lot for the new resort.
I'm very bad with maps and plans and such. Like if I look at a map, if I look at plans, I'm terrible at it, which is why MapQuest and TripTix, from AAA a long time ago, used to be so popular with me and still is because I can't read a map.
So this location we're looking at is where they usually park the golf carts after the golf cart parade. So let's hope they get this finished before that, or else maybe they'll park the golf cart somewhere else this year. Looks like that's most likely because I see a lot of flags and things. So there's most likely something big being done in this area.
I don't know how big it would be, but the Fort Wilderness Golf Cart Parade will be next week, and we will be talking about it next week. We're going to be talking about both Halloween and a little bit of Christmas that's going to be happening next week.
So we mentioned Clementine Beach, and there is the former Clementine Beach. That's going to be a location where you'll have bungalows built on the old beach. So that's now closed. You can see there's walls all around that, and they've built a new Clementine Beach, and that is on the other side of the boat dock, and there it is down there. They used to have trail rides. I think the Marshmallow Marsh years ago used to be in this area, so it has been used, but this is going to be the brand new Clementine Beach.
Well, they didn't build the beach because it's really been there.
But it was not a nice sandy beach. No, they had to fix it up a little bit.
It hasn't been used as a beach really all this time. So we walked around the Fort Wilderness Campground just to check out some of the Halloween decorations. The campers here, the campsite guests, always do such a great job. It seemed like more guests used to stay longer. Like some, were here for a couple of years at least. And certainly for 4 to 6 months at a time, you had what you would call snowbirds. And a lot more decorations earlier, it felt like. But as it gets closer to Halloween, you'll see more and more
I have
coming.
seen it already online. I have some of my Fort Wilderness groups I'm in. Some of the big-time Halloween people are moving in and setting up. Yes.
The big-time Halloween people.
You are going to love it. I am so excited to see all these sites. And I've been writing these down, so we're going to have a good time on Halloween Eve.
I just want to say, in our neighborhood and neighborhoods around Orlando and Florida, I don't feel like, when I lived up north a long time ago, you used to have decorations everywhere. And it's just nice to be able to see the Halloween decorations at Fort Wilderness.
So now we're going to talk about ice at Gaylord Palms, and this is a tradition every year. We welcome the artisans. They are from Harbin, China, and here they are getting off the bus, and they're going to be working in 9-degree weather building ice this year, carving ice, and we're going to have a preview of that. And of course, everybody welcomed them. There was a lot of noise, and we'll link to the video, but it was a very, very, very spirited welcome to the artisans.
We just moved from Halloween to Christmas
very
quickly, and
what a transition.
We'll be doing that again next week. But what I really love about Christmas at Gaylord Palms is, they sort of consider it like a theme park, a Christmas theme park, because this is the amount of activities.
There's actually more activities than are on that board. There's so much.
New, and every year they have there's a couple new things this year. One is a religious show that also you have Cirque Dreams Unwrapped, and those are included with your ticket price.
So here we are, 9 degrees of goodness. It was actually 7 degrees this day because there was not as many people in there yet. They're just getting started, and you can see they're hard at work getting all the ice figures ready for the new show.
Well, it's a celebratory welcome. They've been here for a number of days at least now, so they've been able to create. They work very quickly. I don't know how they do it because there's about 2 million pounds of ice in here, and it is about 9 degrees, although it feels a little warmer to me when we go for these previews. And the first day I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, it's so cold in here. It ranges from, I think they've said, 5 to 18 degrees, probably depending on how many guests there are. This is what it's going to look like in that slide room. Mm-hmm. And so I really, I can't wait. I love the Polar Express. That's what the theme is this year.
Yes. And it's the first time, by the way, this is the first time the Polar Express has been a theme at any of these ice by Gaylord Palms.
Right. And so after that, it will probably travel to other Gaylord Palms. We'll probably go to Gaylord National as well on our own when visiting family to see the Grinch.
Oh, yes. I can't wait to see the Grinch. That'll be awesome. Look at these guys just going right through that ice. It's really amazing. And to be there, to see it in person is pretty awesome, too. And it makes a really loud noise when that ice falls.
And I think there's about 40 artisans, and they work for about a month. We have, from the day that we're recording this right now, about 1 month until, actually exactly 1 month until ice starts.
And again, those dates are November 25th through January 5th.
Of 2020 is on the other end, so we're looking forward to that.
And once again, we're going to switch gears and talk about the Food and Wine Classic at the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Resorts.
Right, and this is the 10th year. I think we've been to just about all of them. We might have missed one of them, but this is just a fantastic event. It runs about 1 week later this year on November 8th and 9th. It does usually sell out, so if you're in the area, you can buy tickets online now. And also, it is rain or shine. It does get moved inside. But we had a preview, and we talked here with Director of Food and Beverage, Luciano Sperduto, about the festival this year because there are a lot of changes.
My name is Luciano Sperduto. I'm the Director of Food and Beverage here at the Swan and Dolphin Hotel.
And we're here for the 2019 Swan and Dolphin Food and Wine Classic, which we've been to almost all of them. Can you tell us what is new this year?
Absolutely. So it's our 10th year, so we had to sort of come out with a bang. Our new area is going to be called Hang 10. It's a homage to beach bash kind of feel. We've extended it on our beach. There's going to be a band that we've built a stage for out on the beach. There's 4 beverage booths, 2 food offerings out there, really creating that vibe with the surfboards and sort of that Beach Boys kind of feel to it.
And can you tell us also about some of the special food and wine items this year?
Absolutely. So one of the new stations that I'm excited for is we're going to feature some South African wine. So that's something new for us this year, which one of my favorite white wines, Chenin Blanc, will be poured at that station. Some of the other stations that are fantastic, can't miss, are we do have our own pale ale, which is Fins and Feathers, that we brew at the Lakeland Brew Hub. But this year we're going to be debuting a Fins and Feathers seasonal beer, which will only be available on tap, and that is going to be brewed with Costa Rican oranges, lemons, and a little bit of spice to give you a little bit of that fall feel. And you'll be able to have that in our beer garden, which is available to everyone through the ticket purchase. And that has traditional beer garden fare, pretzels, poutine, and some really great wings, and some fun stuff.
And what will be the first booth that you would go to this year?
So I'm a Bubbles kind of guy. I really love the Bubbles Lounge, and we did our best to really make it a lot of fun in there. So you go in, there's a separate band in there, a little 3-piece band. There's 8 sparkling wines and champagnes that are offered. 3 of those are rosé, and some awesome sparkling wines in there. And then when you come out of the Bubbles Lounge, you'll be right in the area where we're going to have some of our Smoke and D's, which is our barbecue that we have here, which will be around the Swan Lap Pool. And we'll be set up there with our Fins and Feathers, our barbecue. So it's a perfect spot to get your bubbles first and then come on out and get some sushi and some barbecue.
We'll remember that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So this is always our first stop, Shula's.
That's my favorite. And so the first year of the Food and Wine Classic, it really was, the event was really to showcase the restaurants of the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin resorts. Some of these, like Shula's, like Todd English's Blue Zoo, are some of the highest rated and most delicious restaurants at Walt Disney World, and really in Orlando. So they had like 10 booths, and now there's a lot more booths. There's all kinds of other food items, but really there's a lot of wine and such too.
Oh yes, but more beer than ever this year.
Yes, and Kimonos is one of their restaurants that offers sushi. So when you go to the Swan and Dolphin Food and Wine Classic, you also have the option to, I don't say option, you can try whatever you want with the ticket, but the sushi is one of the items, and you really like their sushi.
Oh yeah, every year I always make sure to try that. That's one of my favorite items.
I see, I don't eat seafood. Like
crab cake. This crab cake, very, very close to what we have when we go to Maryland. I mean, right up there.
So Fridays and Saturdays, the menus are different. Some of the items are the same. Like the Shula's menu item will be the same. I think the crab cake slider might only be like Friday. So that's something like if you go to the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin website, you can see what the menus are. They have them months in advance, the menus for both days, including desserts, including beverages. Fins and Feathers will be there both days. Beer garden used to cost an extra $25, and now it's included with the whole ticket price.
Oh yeah, and that is great. I always love the beer garden. It's just so much fun to try out. Of course, I like all the different craft beers and all, so it's fun. And I like the food that goes along with it in there as well.
And they also have different dessert items. So I mean, really creative items. The event this year, usually it's around Halloween, but this year it's November 8th and 9th. 5:30 to 9, and I mentioned that it's rain or shine because they can move it inside. They have a massive convention center in the Walt Disney World Dolphin, and then they also have classes which do sell out. This often sells out. This event often sells out, especially Saturday night.
Sells out.
Saturday night especially, I think, sells out. But probably, I mean, maybe both days do. But we'll be there, I think, the second night,
Yes,
the 9th.
we always are on the second night on Saturday. I cannot wait to
I,
go.
I really enjoy it. It's a very relaxing evening. They always have live music. And plus, like, I personally would recommend if you're drinking, they have so much wine and then beer, stay on property. Although the packages for the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin have sold out for this event. So, but there's plenty of other places to stay, and maybe the Swan and Dolphin may even have
Minivans and Ubers as well.
to get home.
Yes.
Yes. So anyway, that is another show.
That's another show.
And thanks to our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. They are Disney specialists. They do other travel as well. But especially with as little time as we have for the rest of the year, it really helps to have somebody who can do the legwork, and it really maybe save you hours of time booking and trying to figure everything out for your, especially Walt Disney World vacation and Universal. They go there. But like Becky's just coming back from Adventures by Disney.
Oh,
Becky
an amazing
travels
looking
everywhere.
trip.
Yeah. So she's doing research like all the time, all year round. She's traveling all the time. So anyway, check them out. And we have a lot coming up this week, including the Fort Wilderness Golf Cart Parade.
And Halloween itself
And
in
Halloween
the resorts.
Day, yes.
Not to mention Christmas.
We're starting with some Christmas. So the next show will have a lot of Halloween, but also a bunch of Christmas in it and whatever else is going on. I mean, there's a lot going on, and it's really hard to, like, just now the Epcot
Entrance
entrance is now open, and it's like we haven't had a chance to run over there yet, so maybe we'll mention that as well.
We'll see that tomorrow. Of course, we'll talk about that.
Okay, and we'll probably take the monorail around and really get a good view of that.
And if we're going to be doing that, we might as well ride the Skyliner.
And we're planning to ride the Skyliner, so I mean, I really enjoy the Skyliner.
That's my favorite ride that we've had here in a long time.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot coming up, and that's just what we know about, and hopefully there won't be too much more because that's going to fill the whole show.
Anyway, thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.